Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about how to trade Binance, right? How to trade futures and not get liquidated like a pro, right? How to trade and ride to up to 100 and something up to 1000% and not get liquidated. So I'll be sharing my tips and tricks as well as taking a live trade. So for the sake of this live stream, I this is a new account, okay? So it's fresh. So this is to show you that you can trade Bitcoin futures with less capital than any other account like margin and spot. You're going to need good capital to be able to make good profit on those accounts. But on futures with less capital, good trading plan, you can actually take a good ride, pyramiding your entries till God knows infinite. So I'm going to, for the sake of this video, I've sent $5 to this futures account. So you can see down here it's just $5 in this account for the sake of this tutorial. So I am Machiavelli Trader. Thank you for joining me in this live stream. So for the sake of those who are watching from TradingView and those who are watching from YouTube, I've not been able to link my account, so I am doing two separate video streams at the same time. So in case it's buffering, do be patient with me. So right now let's go back to Binance. So first, before I start, you must know that the same trading strategy you use on your spot is not going to work on your futures. Why? Because of one very big difference, which is the leverage that comes with liquidation, right? So on spot, when you enter a trade, no matter how bad the position is, you can still survive by just holding through. But it's risky. I don't advise anybody holding through a bad trend. Like if you bought the top and the trend is reversing, I think the best way is to find your way out instead of trying to console yourself that it's going to bounce. But on futures, such situations can get you liquidated, right? You can get liquidated very easily, and that's why I'm making this video. For you to be able to trade Binance, of course you would have at least set up your account and do your few verifications. So if you don't have a Binance account, this will be an opportunity to actually acquire one and do your verification. So first of all, this is the futures dashboard. This is what it looks like, but I don't want to start from the futures dashboard, so I just want to go to Binance.com. So because I want to show you how to get to this dashboard, right? So we are at Binance.com. Did I just lock myself fucking out? Okay, no. All right. So this is the dashboard. This is what it looks like. And when you first arrive here, you first have to find your way to the futures dashboard, right? So how do I get to the futures dashboard? It's very simple, right? So up here, you're going to see. Now, I want to say something. Depending on where you are viewing from, where you are actually viewing Binance on. If you are viewing Binance from your browser, it's going to look like this. If you're viewing it from a desktop app, it's going to look a little different than this. Then if you are viewing it on your mobile, then it's going to look way different. But trust me, is, if you can understand how to use this browser one, you'll be easily get through the phone trading, right? Because the dashboard is quite very user friendly than this one. So this one is a lot more complicated. So when you arrive here at first, you are going to see at the top of your screen, you're going to see buy crypto. That is if you are buying from your bank account, if you are buying from your debit card, P2P, third party, and all that, like Paxos and the rest. Now this is market. Like if you want to look at the market and know what is happening, general overview of the market, right? This is where it brings you. It shows you what is trending, what is pumping, and what is dumping based on volume, 24 hours change, and the rest. Now if you click on this next tab that shows trade, you're going to see convert, classic, advanced trading, right? Now if I click on advanced trading, it's going to take me to another aspect of trading, right? The dashboard is a lot different, but we're not going to be dealing on that. We're actually heading to the futures aspect. So this is where you are going to find futures under the tab that says derivatives, right? Now derivatives means an asset is derived from something, not the original, like a carbon copy kind of thing. So the futures are derived from the originals, which are the spot price. So that's what they are derived from. So if I click, there are two types of futures. Now I was supposed to make that very clear before going to the futures tab. So if I go back, it brings me back to that derivative. Now futures is divided into two aspects by Binance. One is you can trade it with USDT. That is the first one, the USDT MSM futures. It means for you to trade in these futures, you will need to already have USDT down, right? Now the second one said coin FM, right? So in this situation, you are actually trying to multiply your coin, right? That's the difference. So the other one you are trading with USDT, the second one you are trading with the coin. So you don't need a USDT to trade a coin FM. So I'm going to give you a strategy that you can apply on both and not get liquidated, right? So the next one is vanilla options. That is for those who trade option, leverage, token, and battle. But we're not all here for that. We are here specifically for the futures. So I'm going to click on the futures. So we are here. This is how it all looks, right? Scary, I know, right? Very, very, very scary for beginners. It's okay, I felt the same way the first time, but with time you're going to get very used to the whole chaos. It's very easy, all right? So if you look at the stream, I'm going to try to explain as much as I can before sharing my strategy. You will need to understand the platform to be able to run the strategy well, right? So I will start from here, right? This is where you change the coin symbols, right? Like let's say I want SRP USDT, right? So this is SRP USDT. Like there's SRP perpetual, SRP USD perpetual, SRP USDT. That's the one I'm going for. Why? Because I'm going to use USDT to trade it. So like I said, if you come here, I have, this is not my trading account, but it's an account I created for tutorial and teaching my student live trading. So this account I have transferred $5. It's a futures account, so don't underrate what $5 can do. But I will explain how I trade. All right? Okay. So we are going to be taking a live trade when I'm done explaining with the strategy using $5. Right? Okay. Good. So let's go. Now that we've choose the coin we want to trade, the first thing you want is to avoid liquidation. You must have a trading plan, right? So though I'm not going to share the whole of my trading plan in this video, you can join my my family, my group, my student on Telegram by clicking the link in my bio. It's going to take you there. So, or you can DM me to add you to the group. So that's where I share the trading plan. I'm only going to share how you are going to avoid liquidations in this live stream. So first is you must have had a trading plan, right? What do I mean by trading plan? Money management. It's very important that you don't use the whole of your 100% portfolio on futures to try any of this strategy, because trust me, I wouldn't try that. Me, I trade with at least 15% of my portfolio is what stays on my futures. Every other thing stays. I split it into different accounts, right? I trade spot, I trade futures, I stack, I do a lot of things. So my money is literally spread everywhere for the sake of safety, right? And I'm being conscious. So if one side is weighing me down, I am balancing on the other side based on my trading plan. And all my students use this trading plan and they've been doing quite very well. So with the trading plan and having the money I allocated to my futures, I can comfortably take my trades because my risk is reduced. Now when I arrive on my futures, I don't jump in to use, let's say I'm going to be using $1,000 as an example in this video. Let's say my account is $1,000, right? My whole total money on Binance is $1,000. Now, after applying my trading plan, what I'll end up with in my futures will not be more than $150. At worst, highest, $150 from that $1,000. Every other thing is splitted into different areas based on trading plan, right? So once I have my $150, I go to this particular page. I am on my futures account and I'm ready to take my trade. Now before I touch anything, the most important thing is that I've done my homework, my technical analysis. Of course, you must have done your technical analysis and you've seen that yes, there is actually an opportunity because you don't want to buy the top, right? So technical analysis is also very important, and without it, trust me, you're going nowhere. So let us come back to the futures, right? So the first thing I need to do before trading this coin is come here. I'll click. Now watch where I click. I click here. When you first arrive in a new futures account, your settings is going to be on cross. Now what does cross mean, right? Cross is simple that when you take a trade, all the position put together is going to be weighing on your futures account. So if you have my $150, remember I'm using $1,000 as an example in this video. So my $150 is going to be if I'm on cross, like if I'm using the default settings that comes with Binance, it means that when I take this trade and anything goes wrong, I am risking $150. It means I could get liquidated down to zero. So if this an example is, let's say this sharp dump happened, right? It's going to wipe me totally out. It's going to wipe me totally out. Because if once the account goes to zero, I'll be left with a zero account. That's what they said. You've blown the account. It means you've blown your futures account. So the first thing first, you want to avoid blowing your account no matter what. So you come here and you take your settings to isolated. What does isolation mean? It means that when you take a trade, right, you will be asked to drop a margin. The margin balance will only be equal to what you assigned to that trade. So if I assigned $20 to SRP position that I am on, if my entry was wrong and something goes wrong, trust me, you're going to go wrong. Nobody can be perfect in this game. You're going to get losses, but if you have a good trading plan, you will have small tiny losses compared to the profit you're going to run. Remember, I said I'm going to show you how to run up to 500 to 1000% in one trade on futures like a pro. That's what we are heading to, but do bear with me. So like I'm saying, this, you have to isolate your trade. So if something goes wrong, only the $20 will go to zero. You will still have $130 from your 150 left, because once that $20 margin gets exhausted, it will close the trade and send you a liquidation and say you've been liquidated, right? That is, if you don't have a trading plan, that means you don't have a stop loss. It means it will clear the margin and leave you with zero. But here is the secret savior: the isolated trade has prevented you from losing $150. So all you lost was that margin you put in that trade. That's all you lose. But here is a catch. There is a catch, and you must pay attention to that catch if you're going to use isolated. What is the catch I'm talking about? It's simple. If you are using isolated trade, make sure you add to margin. Am I making sense? Make sure you add to margin. Now I can't explain it, but I will have to take a live trade with you to explain how to add to margins. That is why I transferred that $5 in order to experiment with you. So I click confirm. The next thing I want to do, now this particular aspect is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. If you have no trading plan, don't try it. It's risky. You will get liquidated. I'm talking about high leverage trading. Now, this is a personal thing. I personally trade high leverage. All my trade are high leverage today. I use the highest leverage. If you truly understand how leverage work, then you know that you want the highest leverage and put little capital on the table. You don't want to put big money on the table and use small leverage. No, you want to put small money on the table and big leverage. So if you put $20 and use 125x, it's simple as saying $20 times 125 times. That is over 10,500, almost $12,500 or something. If you are using $10, if you're using $10, that's like $12,500. So imagine you're using $10 to take a trade of 12,500. Oh, that's risky, right? I know. But remember, we are having $120. All we are putting on the table is $10. That is an instance if you are trading BTC. But in our case, we are trading SRP. So for me, remember, this is not a financial advice. Make sure you do your own diligent research, right? So this is the maximum leverage you can take is $10,000, right? So that is 75x. If I click confirm, it means whatever amount of margin I'm using to enter this trade will be multiplied by 75 times. It means I am multiplying my risk by 75 times, right? Now the risk is high. I have isolated my trade, but I haven't taken any trade yet. Now, before we go taking any trade, I'm going to explain something. Now, this is a tip from my VIP students, right? I know. I'm just going to pass it down to you. Now, this tip is very simple. When you are taking this trade, after doing your trading plan, everything, you need to plan your futures account too, right? You need to plan your money. You need to have a particular way you enter your trade. Means you need to plan your position size. We have $150 on futures, but we need to plan the position size in able to survive a 75x ride. Because without a plan, once we get in, we're going to be kicked out with a pure liquidation, even with our isolated trade, right? So we don't want that. We want to plan. And remember, it is going to be a ride, which means we are going to be stepping in 1 foot at a time, right? So this is how we are going to do it. SRP, we are going to take a trade on SRP, 4 hours chart, but my entry, I'm going to look for a sniper entry by waiting on 15 minutes. Like you can see, I've done my drawings, and based on my drawing, it says I have to wait, right? So before we finish explaining the we could have a pullback, because we are currently having a pullback, and we have a seller's line here, right? Seller's line pushing price down. So we have buyer's line, this white. Now this is within a channel, right? So let me check the color of this to make it easier. So if you guys can leave your comment on the chat, if you have any questions, I'll answer them. Okay. So the next thing I want to explain is, with your trading plan, you are able to create some percentage to manage your position. How do you create this percent? Like in my situation, I use 15% of my futures. That's after my money management that takes me to my future. After splitting my money into different accounts, I still get to split it in every trade. So I don't have to guess how many how many position size I need to take all the time. I take the position size based on my account size without even worrying on what is going to happen. Because why? Because of my trading plan. I just follow my trading plan. So after we've set our leverage, we set our isolated trade, we want to go forward and try to take a trade. Now this is $5.06. Like I said, I want to use it to show you how to take a trade. Now if you look closely here, you're going to see this line that I can drag, and you can see it saying different percent, right? There's different percentage all the way to 100. So this is actually the size of the position. So I'm going to use this percentage to guide my entry, right? So I don't want to enter my trade with a guess position size. I don't want to say, hey, I want to buy 5,000 SRP, 500 SRP, 50 SRP. No, I don't want to do that. I want to let this percentage guide me based on trading plan. Now if you come here, how do you take a trade? You have open order, you have close order, right? You have open long, you have close long. Now if you want to open an order, there are three types of open order. You have limit order, you have market order, you have stop limit order. Now if we are going to take a position that maybe price is not yet where we want it to be, like in the case of SRP, we see that we are expecting a pullback, like we want price to pull back before we get a bounce, and for that situation we could be setting our entry somewhere around here. But we also see that this channel line can easily be broken, and we have a push down to the channel line. This is only this line is to show the reaction of buyers and sellers. Remember, we are trading Bitcoin futures, so we are very sensitive to price movement, right? So while we wait for price to get to the point, you can actually short. So take for example, you want to short this market, right? So you come to open short, right? So when you come here, you are going to use open short strategy. So we also have a chart here. If you want, I'm using TradingView. I'm also using you can actually activate TradingView chart from here. Like this is the original chart, this is the TradingView version. That's what is loading up for us. So this is the TradingView version of the chart, right? So we're going to go to 15 minutes. So clearly we have a support around here, right? This zone. We have a support as here, touch, and so we have somewhere around here. But the major support is here. And we have this seller's line going down, just like I have drawn in my trading view. I don't want to make a fresh drawing, but I'm just giving you an instance. If you are watching from Binance, how do you do your drawing? Okay, here you have the tools, the drawing tools. You can actually pick a drawing tool and draw on your Binance. But I always prefer drawing from trading view because of all this noise here. But you can do it directly from Binance. So you draw the lines. For me, so let's say we want to short, right? So if I want to take this trade now, I'll come here, right? I'm going to use limit order to enter this trade. Now, I don't always advise anybody trading consolidation because this is clear consolidation. Market is in sideways and no one is advised to take trade in sideways. For me, I believe that opportunities are best on breakout. But for tutorial's sake, for this stream's sake, we're going to look this, the way this chart is looking, we're going to get a breakout soon. But if you were to short this market because of this resistance here and expecting a pullback to this point, which is not guaranteed because of the sideways, this is how you're going to run it. You come here, you set your price. Okay, let's say we're hoping to short at so I'm going to enter right here, 0.5. Since this is a brief, let's get closer to 5 minutes. Five, 7, right here, 7, 8, 5. So I'm just expecting a pull back to this point, right? Yeah. So size, like I said, I'm using my trading plan and I'm going to draw 15%. Now, it doesn't matter how much is on my futures account. It could be $1,000, $10,000, whatever. I'm $100, $5, $1. I don't go my first entry beyond 15%. So when I once I put it on, in order just let's do 6.5, right? Short. So limit order, you can see my order hasn't picked yet. So if I scroll up and come to open position, you're going to see the order, right? It has not picked yet, right? So once the order hits, it's going to hit. It's going to pick up. That's what limit order does, right? It's waiting for the price I put. If I want it to pick instantly, then here's, for the sake of this practice, let me cancel and let's use limit order and you're going to see what happens. The same thing, let me first show you. Stop limit order also works like limit order, but how do you set it? You put the price, stop price. It means what price do you want it to get to before your order is picked. Okay, let me say I want it to get to 0.5765, right? What price should it buy for me? It should buy at 0.576. If it's short, I want to short higher, so 7, just difference of just few cents. Size, I put 15%. Why am I using 15% when I am actually having $5? Well, with my $5, I still have over $4 left once I click short, right? If I click short, you see that it's giving me 998.2 SRP and I'll still have money in my pocket. So you can see it has not peaked picked until price gets to this mark price. This is what's going to buy for me, greater or equal to 0.765. But no, I'm going to cancel, because why? I want to take this trade now. I want to take it now. What order should I use since I want to take it now? Market order, right? All I need to do is drag the percentage I want, 15%, and click short. If we click, I said confirm, and boom, I am in the short already. Like, open position short is active, right? Now you can see the short is open, 98 SRP. Now if you look at the margin ratio is high. So what I want to do is I want to add to my position, right? I want to add to the margin position. So I'll come here. You see where it says isolated. I'll go fast. That's the first thing I'll do. I'll add $1, right? Currently my available balance, I've added that. I needed that because you can see the margin ratio has reduced to 22.11 as balance, right? So, but the point is, where is my liquidation? I want to know what price my liquidation is at. So how do I find my liquidation price? Good. So if you look here, this is my liquidation price. My liquidation currently is that when SRP gets to 0.5885, I will get liquidated. What am I likely to lose in this trade? I am only likely to lose $1.63 at worst case scenario. Out of my $5, I can only lose 1.65. That's what I can lose in this trade. Now that is worst case scenario. I will still have 3.3 left. Now this is it. So what about my stop loss, right? Remember, the first thing I did was to add to margin to avoid getting liquidated. So what about my stop loss? Now my margin says that I'll be liquidated once price gets to 0.5885. So I want my stop loss to be somewhere around here. Now this is 5 minutes chart, right? I want my stop loss to be somewhere around here. You might ask, why did I take this trade, right? I will show you. So I need my liquidation price to go above this point, right? Above this point. So currently my liquidation price is above it. My liquidation price is 0.5885, and this point is 0.5877. So it's, if I want to put a stop loss, I must make sure that my liquidation price is above my stop loss, right? My liquidation price is above my stop loss. That's what I want to see. So what I will do is this. I'll come and add again to margin, because I want to set a stop loss. Let's say I'll add 0.3, right? Okay, I've added 0.3 to the trade. Now this 0.3 that I've added, remember, to set a stop loss, that's the next thing. So how do I set a stop loss on my trade? So that's what we are going to do next. You come here, you click, you can see a sign here. All right. So you can see a sign here. Like I said, all you need to do is click on it. When you click on it, it brings this entire position. So I want to set a stop loss on our position on SRP. So how do I do that? To set a stop loss, remember our seller's line is here, right? So my stop loss will just be above that seller's line. Now, don't always use market order for your entries. I use it in this situation because I wanted to show you how it works, because that's the only one that will take my order instantly, while every other one we wait for it to get to my settings around 0.5765, which just did now. All right, look at price just go through it before getting rejected. So I'll put my stop loss here, somewhere around here. Let me take a drawing pen. So my stop loss is going to be here, right? So I'll have my stop loss here. So if price goes up, I get kicked out. And the stop loss that I'm setting, my liquidation is 0.5915. My stop loss is going to be 0.5876. So I'll come here, I click here, it brings me to this page, right? So this page will help you set stop loss. It also help you set take profit, right? So but in my situation, I want to set lot now stop loss. Depending on the price you put is the price that will determine if it's a stop loss you're looking for or a take profit. So in my situation, I'm looking for a stop loss, so it's going to 0.5875, right? And it should close at no, let me put 2 here, and it should close that position at 0 point. You can see I am using last price, right? This is a limit order settings, so 0.5875 is a short. So what will I stand to lose at worst case scenario? So in this trade, out of my $5, I stand to lose 1.26 USDT at worst. Now, it gets interesting, right? So I click confirm. I'll click confirm. So you can see our trade is gradually, price is still going down. So while we are waiting, because I want to show you, I've shown you how to avoid liquidation. How do you avoid liquidation? By making sure you have isolated trade, you have a trading plan, and not just that, you have also set your stop limit, because it's important you have a stop limit set, especially if you are trading high leverage like me. So like we started, we have $5. We started from total of our money in this trade is $2.7. What is our margin? Our maintenance margin is 0.37, but this is what we put on the trade, 0.37. That is the position size of $500. Remember I told you I did not guess my position size or chose my position size. Instead, my trading plan chose the position size, and because of the money that is in the account, that is $5, my trading plan says the maximum of what $5 can take on a high leverage and be on the safe side is 0.37. That's what I used to take the position size. Meanwhile, to implement my stop loss, I have added to my margin to avoid liquidation. Because if I don't add to this trade position, if I don't add to the trade position, I will get liquidated. Why? Because when a when price how do I say it? When price first take the move, when you first enter a trade with high leverage, isolated trade, it is this 0.37 that I'm risking alone. So if I don't add to margin, I will get liquidated because price will not move far before kicking me out of trade. Because remember, price always go back and forth. Like even in this trade, we have jumped in, which the better position would have been here, but we still managed to get in here, right? Targeting where we are targeting this point on short. We are on the short side. So while the price is going our way, our margin also reduce. You can see it is reducing as price is going our way. So if you look closely, we are on 20%. But what we intend doing is we intend to ride this breakdown to this 0.5 to 0.4 support area. So what we do is we are going to pyramid, right? This is what we started with, 15%. So let's watch. When are we going to add to position? Because the fact that we started with 98 SRP on the short side does not mean we cannot add, right? We're going to be adding as price goes our way. So I'll be using 5 minutes to add. Now I personally trade 4 hours and sometimes 4 hours majorly, and my entries are always sniper entries with 15 minutes. But for the sake of this video, I took my entry with 5 minutes chart, right? And the drawing was on 15 minutes. So you can see it's showing where my margin stop loss is at this point. That's where my stop loss is. So I get kicked out by any slight wrong entry. I get kicked out. So we are waiting for an opportunity for a slight bounce, and we see if it's favorable to add to position. Price hasn't gone far from our entry. Now this EMA is a default EMA by Binance, and you can turn it off here. Just come here, you can choose your EMA of choice, and if you want to turn off the eyes up, see clearly, we do that. So we are seeing a bounce here, but I want something, I want like a lower high, like a bounce like this to give like this, something like that. But in order to add to my position to pyramid, first of all, I must allow price to leave my entry point. Because I use market order, price will not buy at the current market. Instead, there was a little jump in price to get me into trade. That's what market order does. If you want to get a good price, you want to stick with limit order and stop limit order. My price entered for me even before it got to the price. That's what market orders does. So you might put 0.5747 and it will pick for you at 0.5733 and all that. Because of the order, you are now a market maker. So you are taking from the market. No, you are more of a taker, not a maker. A maker is the ones who use stop limit order and limit order to set ahead of time. Those are market makers. So they are not takers. You are a taker if you're using market order to get you into trade instantly. So you see, price is gradually coming to our trade. So we're not looking far, just here. Right. So we're expecting a bounce. Now, SRP generally is bullish. Generally is bullish. So this is more like we're just catching a little pullback, right? So the trend is bullish, right? We're just using this short as showing you example, mind you. It's just example of showing you short. It's bullish in general sense, right? It's just a little pullback. You can see the drawing, just a little pullback to this point. That is all we are hoping to capitalize on, right? For hours is very bullish. Powers is very bullish. Just short pullback, just for the sake of this video. That's why we are trying to grab 5 minutes and 15 minutes pullback. Bulls are attempting to break through. Okay, here's one thing about my trading rule. It says when you are in a position and you arrive at 30 negative, you exit because of the high leverage. We cannot take big loss, right? Our loss is completely controlled by our trading plan. That's one of the important things I want to show you. So once it gets to negative 30, we close the trade. We're just trying to hope to catch a pullback, just a slight pullback, because trend is still bullish in the general sense. So negative 30, we close the position. That is very important. You control your loss. If you're using 75x, avoid taking big losses. Once the loss gets to an extent, you don't always have to wait for your stop loss to hit. Your goal is to protect your account, right? Your goal is to protect the account. So once it gets to, okay, it's hit, so we close the account at 0.05 788. Yeah. So market price confirm. So we've set it to close instantly because it looks we are wrong, right? You want to first of all admit when you are wrong, especially when you are trading futures. Once it's getting to your stop loss, don't always wait for the stop loss to trigger. Let the trade go. You must know when to say, hey, I'm wrong, right? Yes, we are expecting a pullback, but you can see the bulls are attacking the seller's line, right? So our stop loss is going to cost us 1.8 dollar, right? But we don't want it to get to that 1.8 dollar. That's what you don't want. So we have reduced the stop loss, right? Why? Once it gets to negative 30, my trading strategy said we exit the trade. It is no more worth it. But it's still within the seller's side. No damage is done yet. So in futures, you must not get emotional. Your goal is to protect the account. Because you're trading high leverage, you can't be right all the time. You must know when to psychologically tell yourself it's time to switch position. That is one of the most important things. You want to take little, small losses, but your profit is big when you get that right trade, right? So watch how I manage the account while trying to trade. I am still observing and taking note of the market. So once it goes that far, I close the trade. Once it goes above my percentage, my trading plan percentage, I close the trade. So we are still fine for now, but you can see our stop loss. I've set the stop loss to avoid getting kicked out on liquidation, because we didn't have that stop loss set well before. So now we have the stop loss in position. So once it gets to that, we are out of the trade. Let me see what's happening. So 29, all right, are watching. Once it's good, wrong, we are out of the trade. Now, if I am trading with bigger money, of course, the position size is going to be bigger than this, and the stop loss, like this is our stop loss. The stop loss is not meant to go far. In fact, this is where we'd have likely taken that short at the tip of this rejection that is happening here, right? The breakdown, right? Because it's a sideways movement, I remember making comments that it is not always good to trade a sideways movement. Why? Because price will keep going back and forth the same area, and you will be stuck in a trade for quite some time, and you're not going to enjoy it. Even the price is going down, it's not going to go down straight. It's going to go back and forth. That's what you're going to see, and that's the reason why I'm very strict on my stop loss in this situation, because it is still within a consolidation zone. If I see the fact that it goes above my negative percentage, I am out of the trade. I don't need my stop loss to even hit, because it shows that I am wrong, right? But a trade that will go your way from the start. You're going to see a sign like a green light first, and though it's going to fluctuate up and down, but for a while you're going to see green, right, before it leaves that point. Because most times when price is on support or resistance, there's always this battle between sellers and buyers before it leaves that point. So why price is still going back and forth? So I remember saying that we are going to get something like a bounce and a rejection. So if I was pyramiding, right, it's just like this point, right? As price keeps making lower low as it's going, same thing here. So we could be seeing the same pattern going like this. So that is the point where we are going to pyramid. But first we want to see that this is a clear rejection, because this is a two barriers, but we want to see clear rejection. So let's wait for the bulls to be rejected clearly first, before we can add to our position. So we add to position as it goes our way, but as long as it is still on negative, we can't add to position. That's why I say we have to wait. We have to wait for it to probably give us a good position. When we are balanced, then we can take the trade. My price, I use market order, so it's bought for me ahead of time before where price was. So it's like my order picked somewhere around here even before price got there. That's disadvantage of using market price. I always advise using limit order or stop limit order. Best way to short this market, let me show you. So if we were to look at this market, why did I short? Is this breakdown, right? Right? Like this is a resistance. This is a resistance, and mostly I would prefer seeing this on 4 hours. But like I told you, if you followed my analysis that I posted, I said SRP is very bullish, right? So shorting the SRP right now is like I'm putting myself on the line. It's not the right move, but I'm just trying to catch a little pullback, right? Just to show you how you can manage futures. But trust me, to enjoy this trade, you want to buy support. You want to focus on buying the supports, right? That's what you want to focus on doing. So this is likely going to come down to this point. If you've read our analysis, I talked about SRP and the possible bull run that is coming, but there's a pullback around 0.55 to 0.54, of which we've gotten this morning around here. But I see that the resistance is still big strong, right, because of the previous resistance reaction in this area, right? So it's one of the things that is giving me confidence that we could see some good pullback happening. That's why I took that shot. So yeah, so we are still on it. So I, on a normal time, you will ask me that, okay, I'm supposed to be pyramiding, why haven't I started, right? Because you can see here that our position is still not strong enough to start receiving additional positions. So my next position, I'm not going to be entering with market order. I'll be entering with stop limit order and limit order. So we are going to allow our position to move to at least this. There's another support around here. Let's take our horizontal line to find it. There's an invisible support somewhere here. Yes, somewhere around here. Yeah, there's a support here. So here we are likely going to see some sort of bounce around 0.56 zone, right? We are going to see some sort of bounce around this area. Now mind you, support is an area, not a line. So this is the area of support that I'm seeing. In fact, not to be straight, but we are very close to it. To even all this place is support. All this, you can see the reaction of the candlesticks around this area. It's all support. So somehow we are on support somehow, but I am seeing that the support is likely not too strong to hold, but let's see. You can see the bulls are fighting hard for this pullback. So our position is still not strong enough to add to a position, so we stay patient. So is this the tip of the support that is bouncing? The tip of the support, that's what they are reacting to. More of a sideways in this middle. So with pyramiding, you're going to be adding to your position. So our next position is going to be another 15%. As it goes our way, we add another 50. We're going to keep pyramiding and following the trend as it goes. That's how pyramiding works. So no matter how worst case scenario, we stand to lose just this margin percentage here. This is our maintenance margin, 0.37. We have our stop loss set down. You can see it here. So that's our stop loss. But we don't have to wait necessarily for our stop loss to hit before we exit this trade. Like I said, according to my marketing plan, there's a percentage that once we get to, we close the trade if that negative shows up in here. Once we see that negative, it's time to exit the trade. We don't care if it's coming close to support or anything. Once we see that negative, we exit the trade. We don't have to wait for our stop loss to hit. That is my own trading plan. Now you have to have your trading plan on how to escape from a wrong trade. You can't be right all the time. Of course, even me, I'm still wrong most times, and most times I'm still right. But believe in me, I ride, and I ride the highest leverage. So I'm giving you my tips and tricks with this exemplary trade. Please, it is not a trading advice. Don't go and use this in your account. The high leverage is very risky. Without my trading plan, I wouldn't even try it. I use trading plan that is very strict on money management to be able to handle high leverage, because at the end of the day, at worst case scenario, I still have money left in my futures to try again, because that's the most thing. You don't want to blow your account and have nothing left to try again. That's where liquidation is bad. With this strategy I'm showing you, you can never get liquidated no matter how bad your trade. You can see when I was about to take this trade, trend was bullish, but we just want to cut a little pullback on 15 minutes, and we don't mind, because why? We're not going to get liquidated no matter what happens. No matter how such a bad trader you are, or how such a bad technical analyst you are, you will never get liquidated using this strategy. So this is a sideways market, and don't expect an easy ride. Also, Bitcoin seems to have found good support at paper Bitcoin. Okay, very close to 52. Stop at 53k. So we're still on sideways. We could still have another leg down. So like I said, it was going to attack this white line one more time, but we are hoping we are going to get a failure since it's actually still within the consolidation. So this consolidation is still acting on it. So like I was saying, if you want to trade this breakdown, this point, so we're going to see price get to this point if it's going to get a rejection. So this is where the breakdown happened. This is where we are supposed to take our trade, but we ended up entering here using market order. Well, it's still we're doing very close to resistance, so no much damage is done yet. Our stop loss is here, right? But we don't have to wait for stop loss to hit, because once it start getting here, I'm out of the trade. Once I start seeing another attack on this resistance, I'm out of the trade. So good things takes time, right? We started with a very small position. Why? Because we want to be able to control our money. We want to be able to manage our money. So as price goes our way, we add. If price doesn't go to our way, we close the trade, right? That's how it goes. So as price goes our way, we continue to add with every pullback, right? So if price goes our way, gets here, pullback. So like it gets here, it pullbacks, it go again, we add here, we allow it pull back, we add here, it goes again, we allow it pull back, we add here, it goes again, we allow it pull back, something like that until we get to our target. That is what is called pyramiding. Of course, you're going to see, like this is an example, you can see it the way it goes. So you're going to keep adding as price goes your way. You don't want to be greedy. You're going to start well. Your first entry should help you get a good entry. That's it should help you determine if you are right or wrong before losing much to the market. So if you start with small position, you are likely going to know when you are right. So based on this, our entry first is market order. So we are very, very conscious, right, of the position. Why? Because first we bought at price far from even the entry, right, using market order. Second is we have to wait for price to break down our entry, because right, price has pulled up, right, is above our entry. We have to wait for it to pull back if we are going to add to the trade. So right now our loss is still limited to 0.37, right, 0.737. That's our maintenance margin. Out of our $5, we are still having 0.37, and this is still the loss where we are. So we are, the no damage is much done yet, so we are still in the trade until we start seeing signs of damage. Now I don't always keep my eyes on the trade. I keep my eyes on the chart. That's why I like using trading view chart, not the Binance chart. So I just put my attention on the chart, put my mind on the chart, and wait, right? So I want to see price leave my entry point before adding anything to my position. So once I get the right trade, I will know, right? Because it's going to flash, and once it's flash, I start planning on how to be adding to the position as we go. So time is going. This is a sideways market. It's going to take a while before we get this going our way. So I'm going to end this video here, and I say thank you for watching. Thank you everyone, and God bless. Subscribe.